Good evening. So I'm pretty sure when I agreed to be the chairman, Kathy told me there would be no public speaking. Anyway, welcome to the 2019 Spark Awards dinner. Thank you for being here. We gather tonight as a group of business peers to celebrate business accomplishments. But on a deeper level, we also come together as a community of partners, neighbors, and ultimately friends who sometimes need to comfort and support each other. The recent tragedy suffered by Henry Pratt, and by extension all of us, reminds us how fragile life can be. Before we get started tonight, I'd like to ask that we take a moment in silence to remember those lives who were lost and those lives who will be changed forever. Thank you. You know, difficult times have the ability to bring a community closer together. This evening, let's cherish and strengthen the partnerships and friendships that we have within the BIA. One of the ways that we can strengthen our community is by strengthening our businesses. The Spark Awards was started 3 years ago as a night to celebrate and recognize outstanding achievements by BIA members. Under Kathy's leadership, the benchmarking for excellence model rolled out this year is more aligned with the 3 value pillars of the BIA: to provide resources, to provide education, and to provide collaboration opportunities to strengthen your organization. This new model gives member companies tools to measure areas of current strengths and weaknesses and to track progress over a longer time horizon. Further, how member companies collectively perform in their assessments gives us insight in order to provide valuable programming topics, as well as education and collaboration forums throughout the year. Kathy will talk more about this later this evening. Another way that we strengthen our community is by providing opportunities to those who need a helping hand. Thanks to a very generous donation from a BIA member, we are thrilled to announce tonight that the BIA will be awarding 2 $500 scholarships through Wavansie Community College in their next round of scholarship awards. Furthermore, we are on the cusp of reaching our $25,000 goal in order to launch the Valley Industrial Association Manufacturing and Technology Endowment Scholarship, which will also be through Wavansie. In fact, we are exactly $4,150 away from this goal. And given that there are 154 people in the room tonight, and while I was told there would also be no math, I believe that would be a contribution of $29.10 per person to push us across the finish line. If you are so inclined, there are pledge cards on the table, and if you are interested, please fill them out, and a BIA staff member will contact you in the upcoming days. So with that, I wish to wish you all a wonderful evening. Please enjoy your dinner and company. Have a wonderful night, and Kathy will be back to start the ceremony properly at 7. Thank you.
You all, and just what a wonderful event to celebrate our companies tonight. And I wanted to first thank a few people. I have, this would not have pulled off without my amazing staff, so please, Susan Condi, my office manager, and Trish Overture, our program manager, amazing job. Now, we don't have to have a sponsor to have a nice event, but it sure makes it a lot nicer when we do. And especially, I'm certain you're going to be thanking our lovely friends from Cast Aluminum, who are our wine sponsor tonight. That was kind of nice, wasn't it? Right? We have BISON, which we thought it was a pretty good tie-in with our measuring theme for those fun little tape measures on your table. So thank you, Erin and BISON, for those. mark this occasion special, we have to have some pictures. So we have a wonderful photographer, Kimberly, who is just a fantastic, just a nice opportunity, our beautiful new backdrop too. So thank you so much, Kimberly. And then BFC, one of our newer companies who did these beautiful signs for us. So thank you so much, BFC. Now we have a very special company that is our platinum sponsor tonight, and we have a special relationship with Sikich because, one of the reasons, I should say one of the many reasons, is because we have a board member, our treasurer, Jerry Murphy, who is just a partner to us and helps us make sure we're on the straight and narrow. keeps me really in tune. So I am so thankful for your partnership to really make this a lovely event. So I'm going to invite Jerry Murphy up to say a few words on behalf of Sikich.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Before I begin with my remarks, I'd like to congratulate Trish, Kathy, and Sue again for putting on such a wonderful event for us. This has been a great idea and gets better every year. My name is Jerry Murphy, and I'm the partner in charge of the manufacturing and distribution vertical at Sikich. For those of you here tonight that don't know a lot about our firm, we provide audit, tax, or technology advisory services for manufacturing distribution businesses of all sizes. We consider ourselves very fortunate to have so many of the Valley members as our clients. It's a real honor to sponsor tonight's event. It's really a marquee event for the Valley, and being a board member, I'm very proud to be part of a board that's put on such a magnificent event. I know a few of you said when I met with you this evening that you were a little surprised to see a CPA out 2 nights before the first filing deadline. But we're very excited to be here and sponsor the event. Good luck to all the finalists this evening. We're really excited to see who wins. Now, Sikich has been a member of the Valley now for 30 years this year, and during that time, we've had numerous opportunities to learn from all of you, to network and to solve a lot of the problems that a lot of you face during that time. We share the vision that the Valley has in creating a collective number of folks that are part of our team to help our clients succeed. And that's why over 2 decades ago we established a manufacturing and distribution vertical to help our clients. Some of our recent successes with clients have entailed technology, automation, workforce challenges, and business succession planning. We've also been helping our clients with some very significant accounting standards you may have heard about surrounding revenue recognition, leases that are effective this year and next. We've of course spent a great deal of time over the last two years helping our clients understand how the major tax law changes impact their business and personal tax situations, as well as how to take advantage of all those new rules. For those of you not having conversations about these topics, please stop by and visit our table after tonight's event. We'd really love to connect with you and help you through any of those topics that you may not feel comfortable with. In fact, if there's anyone here that's not comfortable with their tax situation, we'd be happy to meet with you and go through a diagnostic to ensure that you're taking advantage of all of those opportunities. So now that I told you a little bit about what Sikich does really well, we're excited to move on and learn about what all of you do really well. So thank you for the warm welcome, and we'll get started with the lunch program.
Thank you so much, Jerry. We are excited to have you as one of our partners in our CFO and financial leader group that we actually start tomorrow. So it's going to be a great group. One group of people that I I didn't forget about you. I meant to talk about you earlier. Is I have a wonderful board of directors, and I would like you to stand if you're on our current board of directors or on our past board of directors. If you could please stand for some recognition. We have some really wonderful support as part of the organization, so thank you for all the hours that you put in and all the emails that you take from me. I appreciate you very much. So thank you so much. So next up, we have a wonderful partner that we utilize all the time. It's the Illinois Manufacturing Excellence Center. And so I would like to invite the president of the Illinois Manufacturing Excellence Center, IMEC, Dr. David Boulay. He told me I can call him Dave though. So I'll have to say a few words.
Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here to celebrate and have some fun. And when we look at our organization and our mission is all about driving growth through enterprise excellence. And in our work, it gives us a great opportunity to see what's going on. So we're in hundreds of companies each year, and it gives us a lens of what's happening. There's a couple things that we should be well aware of, and you know we're talking about it at the table and elsewhere. This is a manufacturing moment. This is a great time in manufacturing. Output levels at all-time highs. The state of Illinois ranks as one of the top states when it comes to manufacturing. There's a lot to celebrate. We also know there's lots of challenges ahead. I am just starting to figure out my cell phone and all those apps. Industry 4.0 is here. I'm still trying to figure that out. And how we deal with all this new technology. Everything that's going on in the global economy. Dealing with the workforce challenge and the boomer retirement, how we're going to navigate all this. And as we try to navigate all that, we look at how we keep getting better each and every day. That's what we do as leaders. We look at how can we get a little more sales, how can we get a little more profit, how can we give more to our team, our employees, how can we give back to the community. We're always looking for that edge. And so having that lens that we have as an organization, to be able to look out and see what is happening when it comes to this idea of excellence, I really have no better place to turn than March Madness. So we have the tournament here starting in about a week. Right? March Madness gives us some things to think about. So 1939 was the first championship game. Oregon beat my alma mater, Ohio State University. The score was 46-33. They combined in the championship game for 79 points. Last year, Villanova beat Michigan, which makes an Ohio State guy happy. But beat Michigan 79-62, a combined score of 141 points. That's a 78% improvement from the first year to the last year. I'll put a little more perspective on it. The first 10 years, 1939 and 1948, the average combined score of the championship game was 88 points. The last 10 years, the average combined score 133 points. That's a 44-point difference. That's a 49% improvement. So think about those great champions of the day probably would not have even made it to that final game now. But what do we learn from that? We learn that excellence, first of all, is a slow-moving target, right? Before you heard this, you probably didn't know that the scores were going up over time like they do. But over the course of time, you really don't see it, but over the long haul, you see it. So what we know, if we stay still, we go from great to being mediocre. It's really that simple. And excellence has a couple features to it. It's about performance and it's about practice. It's about those things we do. We ask ourselves, how do we do certain things? And what are the results of those things? That's what we do as leaders. We set that framework around that. We link what we do to drivers of the business. We benchmark and we celebrate. That's what we do. And so, congratulations to all of you. Kudos to VIA, Kathy, your team, the board, and your vision to drive excellence in the way that you're doing it. Because you're taking the ideas of performance in practice. You're taking the ideas of benchmarking and celebration and wrapping it into one to ensure that that manufacturing moment that we have right now, that keeps going for this membership, that we can keep going through good times and bad and keep succeeding. So definitely enjoy March Madness. It's going to be fun. But for my money, this is where the celebration is. So congratulations, and let's have a fun night tonight.
Thank you so much, Dave. We are so grateful for the support that IMEC has given to our program. From the brainstorming, to the overviewing, to the interviewing, thank you so much. Our Benchmarking for Excellence program came together from the input, feedback, and talent of so many. If you in the audience had any part of our program, can I please have you stand? The Spark Awards Committee, the interviewers, and anyone else who gave input or feedback on that program, will you please stand? What's most impressive to me about this program is how many people came together to see it to fruition. So thank you for the support, the research, the help in understanding what the most important contributors to success are in these important categories. So for our Spark Award application this year, we used our new Benchmarking for Excellence program. And it accomplished two very important things. One, for the company. It gives your company a clear path for growth and improvement, and also validates and celebrates your accomplishments. And then for number two, for the BIA, it gives us the data that we need to support you. As our mission statement says, we strive to be your partner. So what better way than to know the direction our programming should go and help learn what you need to be better, faster, and stronger. So as I mentioned, the program came together with input from so many. And one challenge that we had a lot to do with the diversity of the size of our companies that were in the finals. It was very interesting. And much consideration was given as to our kind of one-size-fits-all approach. We worked really hard to look for best practices that were scalable, with the theory that if a small company was utilizing these best practices and they continue down that path, it will help them be stronger and support and help them grow. While there were advantages to the resources of a larger company, there's also advantages to the flexibility that a smaller company might have. And I think it's pretty impressive how this all turned out. So are you ready? So you want to hear some winners? All right. Okay, so we're going to begin with our first category, and that would be culture. Our presenters for culture both contributed monumentally in establishing the criteria of the category. We pulled on Caroline's strong company brand at Wintrust and also utilized Jeff's leadership, coaching, and workforce development background. So please welcome Jeff Johnson from LMI and Caroline Rossow from Wintrust St. Charles Bank and Trust.
So Jeff and I had the privilege to work together with the BIA and other members starting back in July. It's been a long time coming, we're excited. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, sounded straightforward enough. Develop a set of questions intended to list best practices we can all implement to build award-winning company cultures. We began with big ideas and philosophical questions like, does it take ping pong tables and midday naps to have a great culture? We decided those were more perks, and so remained the challenge of defining the many components of culture. We kept coming back to ways company culture drives business priorities. We found examples and evidence that engagement boosts productivity, great culture improves retention and recruiting the best talent. If you train and develop your team so that they could leave, you better create a culture that makes them want to stay. Some school of thought says it's important to focus first on taking great care of your employees and then your customers. Culture is all about transparency, trust, and purpose. Or as Simon Sinek says, having a clear understanding and connection to the why of your business. The more we reflected on our own experiences, sorted through numerous expert sources, and deliberated all of the information, we kept coming back to the immense value that a great culture brings to all involved, not only employees, but also the bottom line. As one business expert, David Bookbinder, said, the value of a business is a function of how well the financial capital and the intellectual capital are managed by the human capital. And you better get the human capital part right.
So the key components in the category of culture include a company that has defined core values, vision, mission, and purpose. Second is they have defined and communicated company goals. Third and fourth, they focus on workforce development as well as employee engagement. The fifth and sixth areas are both related to environment. First is the environment that builds strong relationships with your employees, with your suppliers, with your customers. The second environment is that provides inclusivity to a diverse workforce. The seventh is a culture that attracts and retains both employees as well as customers. Next is one that does and understands the value of team building. Ninth is one that has leadership development programs and opportunities for career progression. And finally, the last category is one that conducts formal assessments for measuring organizational culture. So we know that the results, or the degree of success that any company has, is really based on the results of the individuals within that organization. We also know that those results are going to be increased when a company actually incorporates some of these positive attributes of culture. With that in mind, the finalists for the Culture Award are just so you know, ooh is not on the list, so just turn around, turn. Car, machine and tool. Okay. Duquesne precast and international paper.
The winner is
Congratulations. Thank you.
I'm a little, you think you're prepared for it, and I've never been one to not say much, but I'm going to do my best and share in what this particular award means to me personally and what I think it means to the team at Car Machine and Tool. I feel like I won my Grammy tonight, by the way. So, again, thank you to the BIA and all the interviewees for coming out to CARD. You know, we're a small company, and as you know, if you're leading a small company, you know that manufacturing or running a small business nowadays is not easy. I mean, it's a struggle. I mean, I've been in this industry for decades, and I have to say that in the last 5 years have been harder than the last 20. So, you know, it's been tough. But the thing is, with all this change happening, we have to adapt and we have to change. The impetus in the reasons why I felt it was important for us to change was, you know, I grew up with my dad running the small manufacturing company. My dad did not know what he didn't know. He didn't know that he was teaching me the characteristics of you know, what he knew. And I made a decision that I said, you know, I'm going to break away from this. I'm going to do something different. And I'm going to start networking. And through networking for the last 8 years, I met incredible, powerful business people, much of whom are here with me tonight, supporting me and celebrating me, and I thank you for being here tonight. But I worked on the brand image of the company, and moved slowly. And then through all this networking, I met this man named Jason Zanger. And Jason was a younger guy. He had a lot of drive and energy. And Jason said to me, you know, I think we should start a podcast. And I said, yeah, I think that sounds, yeah, give me a couple days, let me digest it a little bit, and you know, we'll move forward. I'll give you an answer in 2 days. So I came back and said, yeah, I'll do it. And our mission with the podcast was to equip and inspire manufacturing leaders. And you know, we had absolutely no idea where this was going to go. You know, it was strictly grassroots. We didn't even know what could happen in the next 5 years or so. And we started interviewing people on the show. And Jason was a real culture guy. You know, I was running a manufacturing company, and you know, I was doing my thing. I had the knowledge, I had the wisdom of manufacturing from all those years. And Jason kept saying, you know, we should interview people on culture. I think it's important. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, we'll do that. And we started interviewing people, and I kept hearing about core values and culture, and I didn't sink in until a couple years in. And a couple years went by, and we were doing a show, and I met a man by the name of Tom Carmazzi. He's the president of Untitled Corporation in Burridge, and he really inspired me. He showed me graphs, he showed me metrics, and he said, Jim, he said, if you invest in your people first, the financials will come second. And it seemed like a crazy thing, but I thought, you know, what the hell have I got to lose? I'm going to try this. Because he had the knowledge, he had showed me things that were changing this company, and it really was impactful to me. So we did the interview, and then I hired a new office manager, and I said to Linda, my new office manager, I said, Linda, you know, I said, I really need to define our core values. I said, just sit down and just write down everything, all the emotions that you feel are coming through a car machine tool. And she did, and it was like 100 things, and weeks and weeks went by, and we narrowed them down to what we thought was the essence of our company. And I would say after about 6 weeks, we met with the team in one of our weekly production and strategy meetings, and we presented it to them, and we said, this is what we're going to do. And within 4 weeks, we narrowed that down to 4, which were flex, fly, play, and energize. And those are the things that we live by. Those are the core values that we hire, we fire, we review, and we we live by. Those are the most important things. So I don't want to go too long, but I just want to salute my team. If everyone would just stand as I call your name: Serge, Linda, Ryan, John, Matt, we call him Matt, Scott. This is my team. Thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate your support. It's been an incredible ride so far, and I look forward to many more years. Again, thank you. If you're ever thinking of implementing culture in your company, just go slow. You don't need to have a real big process behind it. Just think about it. Make it a slow process, and I guarantee that you're going to have some impact after it. Thank you again so much.
Thanks, Jim. I have told him this before, but when I started at the VIA, I didn't have a background in manufacturing. So I learned manufacturing from his podcast, so thank you for that. Thank you for the applause. All right, that's time. All right. So we have our second category tonight is innovation. And both of our presenters were key contributors in helping us figure out how we would tackle such a broad subject. Utilizing Maria's experiences as regional manager at IMEC and Jeff's experience as director of technology at Monitor Technologies, a strong criteria was established. Please welcome Maria Moran and Jeff Sidlick to announce our innovation category.
Hello, everyone. So we were challenged, as you heard, to kind of come up with the what and the how of innovation. What the heck is innovation? How is it different than inventions? That was one of the big questions that started in our group when we first got together. And so, of course, we went to the dictionary because we were very factual. And so I'm going to start with this vision that I think the example from Webster Merriam gave me. Innovation, or invention, would be the telephone. Right? Telephones were an invention. The cell phone kind of merged invention and innovation. Smartphones were definitely innovation. And those gave us a start to think about how to define innovation, but it was still very vague and it didn't give us any insight to expose the systems that were used within a company to provide innovation. And so we dug a little deeper and looked for something a little bit more holistic, and ultimately it became our benchmark definition for innovation, which we will credit to the Baldrige Excellence Framework. And the definition is making meaningful change to improve products, process, or organizational effectiveness and create new value for stakeholders. The outcome of innovation is discontinuous or breakthrough change. So our challenge then was, how do we define meaningful change? And what does that look like? And so for that, I'll have Jeff share with you the how.
Okay, so last fall, Maria and I, along with a few others, developed the survey that a lot of you wound up participating in. And much like the other categories, our challenge was to define a series of questions and subsequent answers along a spectrum of maturity that would be, somewhat prescriptive in nature to allow a company, any respondent to answer somewhat objectively, and that was the challenge. And for those of you who did respond to the innovation survey, we hope it was a meaningful process for you. It definitely was for our company, even though we're not one of the finalists, and I didn't expect to be, quite frankly. But the process was really thought-provoking for our team to kind of take a look at what we do in the innovation space, both from a product standpoint and a process standpoint, and gave us a ton of ideas that we're looking to begin the journey of implementing at our company. And I hope that was the result for others here in the room. And that was really the point of this whole concept, I think, that Kathy championed, and that was to transform the Spark Awards process from a more subjective process to one that's more objective, more prescriptive, and more helpful for all of us. So one kind of idea that we came across as we were researching really what innovation was all about was kind of the idea of innovation as a cycle. And it starts with ideas. It starts with idea generation. And ideas can come from so many different sources. They can come from the internet, they can come from your customers, they can come from your frontline employees, they can come from your vendors, and they certainly can come from management, but it's not only management, of course, that generates the ideas. It's really how well and how humble are you as managers in your company to seek ideas from other sources, and that really is the start of the innovation cycle, is generating those ideas. Then as you have those ideas, it's moving on to the next step, and that's the discovery, the analysis, the research. What do you do with those ideas? How do you vet them out? What kind of feasibility studies do you do? How do you really evaluate the merits of those ideas? Then moving on to actually building the solution, building the product, building and designing the new process, testing it, testing the heck out of it to make sure that it does what you intend, and then deploying it, and then measuring your results. How well did you do? What could you have done better? And then the cycle starts all over again. Back to new ideas, improvement ideas, continuous improvement. So that was really what we set out to do, and we accomplished that, at least as a first go-round for this year. I would encourage any of you who did participate to please give your feedback to Kathy regarding what you thought about the survey. If you thought that there were some things that could be tweaked, and that's fine, because that's really, again, part of continuous improvement, which is really the spirit of the Spark Awards as it is now under the new format. So we are ready to present the awards. Right? What do we do next? Oh, just read them. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry, we didn't practice this. Okay, so the finalists for innovation are BISON Gear and Engineering Corporation, Precast, and International Paper. And the winner is BISON Gear and Engineering. All right. Well done, BISON.
Well, you didn't practice I didn't practice this evening, so I'll try and keep on topic. First of all, thank you, Kathy, the Valley Industrial Association, for the recognition. This is great. And Kathy, to you and your team for organizing the great event, and also the SICKICH for providing the guidance and the help during the application and evaluation process. For those of you who aren't familiar with BISON, our company's been manufacturing gear motors in this area for almost 60 years. We've been a member of the VIA for a long time, more years than I know. And we've benefited through the years from networking, from the training opportunities like the 7 seminars for supervisors, etc. But to be honest, we weren't really aware of the Spark Awards. So when we had the opportunity like last year and were introduced to it, we looked at it and thought, man, what a great opportunity to do these evaluations and benchmark ourselves against other companies, other manufacturing companies in the area. So we decided to submit our application. We thought, great, let's see how it pans out. So when we got notified that we were in the finalists in the capital categories, wow, that was fantastic. So to win it, thank you. That's icing on the cake as far as I'm concerned. If I may, I'm going to take a second and introduce the team who's here from BISON. We've got Andrew Burnett, our VP of Administration, responsible for safety and IT. Deborah Galchik, Director of Human Resources. Ray Hicks, our VP of Operations. Andy Kester, the Vice President of Marketing and Sales. Bunny Ray Larmond, our General Manager for our Food and Beverage Business Unit. Lindsay Padilla, our Manager of Quality Assurance and Continuous Improvement. And George Thomas, our VP of Engineering. As a company, we've been driving significant change, and I believe we've seen a lot of improvement over the past couple of years. Driving a new culture of alignment, responsibility, and accountability, and ownership. And all the while raising the bar on expectations and accountability. And that's the team that's been leading the charge. So guys, thank you. You're doing a great job and appreciate it. So on behalf of the team who's here, on behalf of the entire company of BISON, I happily accept the award. I see it as evidence that we are making progress, we are making improvements daily, and we are making progress towards our goals. So again, guys, thank you for your hard work. BIA, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, John. Okay, so next up, we have our third category of the night, which is operational excellence. I would say that this was the hardest of all the categories to define, just because there were so many components of operations within all the other categories. So while it was extremely hard to define, we were never worried because we had some great brain power on this one. Utilizing Bill's expertise that he has gained coaching businesses and our past chairman's 30-year history working his way from intern to owner, a solid criteria was established. So let's welcome Bill Germanetti from Impact Business Coaching and Craig Russell from Monitor Technologies to talk about operations excellence.
Bill and I are honored to be able to do this. Hold on, I got to snap with David Belay. Tweet the Facebook. I don't know. We started this process around some tables that had a bunch of information to get started on. It was all meant to stimulate our thoughts and try to come up with some answers to how we're going to measure, in this case, operational excellence. And we only had an hour or two, something like that. There was 6 or 7 categories, of course, as you know. When we finished on that first day, I think we had a definition done, and everybody else was well far ahead of us. So we had some challenges with how we were going to come up with something that was appropriate for all of you, our members. The thing that was most interesting for us is that when we think about operational excellence, all these categories could fit into that. So as Kathy kind of mentioned, we had to figure out something that was unique and special for this particular one. It really was somewhat obvious, though, in that the word operational was really where we wanted to focus on. We have 150-some members, unless you added 30 this month. 30 that are manufacturers in and of themselves, and they get some great benefit from organizations like IMEC and like Impact to help them in their process. So although we had
great start, we really needed to have somebody really pull it up together, and that's where Bill jumped in. Bill was fantastic to work with, and he really brought the meat to what we really wanted to do. So I really wanted to thank Bill for everything he's done, and I wanted to pass it to Bill because he has some really good information in terms of how this all came about.
I joined the DIA this past year, and immediately I was impressed with Kathy in particular. But and really what got me interested in the Spark Boards was trying to make something happen, really apply it here. And I had the opportunity to meet several of the finalists during the interview process. Very, very honored to do that. But my job here tonight is to give you a little bit of an overview of what's in this category and why it's important. Why is this important? We had a mix of people, perspectives, and experience that we involved. We had some owners, consultants, advisors, and plant managers. We had a good mix of people. But like you said, we really started out trying to figure out what are we even talking about. Ultimately decided we really wanted to create an incremental roadmap. So there's some great winners here today, but I think really the real value that Kathy envisioned and the rest of us got a chance to help take it to the next step is a roadmap that the participants and the people that didn't participate, hopefully we can spread the word to participate throughout the year and think about this as, hey, I was a CRE this year, how do I get to a 4? What does that even look like? So, part of it is to benchmark yourself honestly, objectively, set that, where do we want to be 6 months from now, 6 years from now, 60 years from now. See what is possible. I get this a lot, and what I do is that people just, you don't know what you haven't seen before. And actually, John, I think it was, gave an example of his father in that case. And there's a lot of people like that. We haven't seen it before. And so we have an opportunity to look at each other and see what's possible and to be challenged by each other. So that's a lot of what this roadmap was about. So I look forward to next year hearing some stories about how you moved along the roadmap. I think that'd be really interesting. Congratulations to all the winners and the contributors, participants, particularly Kathy and her team. They really made it great. So thank you.
And the finalists are BISON Gear and Engineering.
Third time's the charm, huh?
We have across, we do everything but our most valuable resource is our local point blank. We people have a tough time hiring candidates, and we're one of those. Our core is so solid, it's unbelievable. And the reason is because we value everything. So when you talk about operational excellence, it really boils down to you're not managing people, you're listening to them focus. You're focusing their activities, and you're letting them grow. And we're really good at that.
Can't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. So you can tell I'm nervous. We put a lot of effort into our people, and our people really, I'll say again, are everything. Very cross-functional. When we do an activity, we usually engage different opinions and different ideas. I'm going to let you guys get to pick them so that you're mad at me, but at the end of the day, you're doing all the work. So we got a big cross-sectional team. We got HR here. HR starts every day in the plant. I don't know how many of you do that, but they are the employee advocate. If they have a problem with the bill, HR is there to help them. Phenomenal people. We have our plant manager. He's on the, he's a stirring of all production. Okay, he's there every day on the floors. We got our young talent. Jesse Camargo started, he's our plant superintendent. He started as a laborer. How long ago, Jesse? 30 years?
23 years.
And they keep on coming. So at the end of the day, when you say, I can't find people, you're right, but what you can do, you can get people who want to work and are willing to work. And if you engage them in your operation, you're going to be excellent. That's all I got. Thank you.
Okay, are we ready for safety? We've got our fourth category tonight, safety. We are very blessed to have the resources from several key contributors for this category. And I'm proud to say that it was approved by some pretty picky partners. Our safety award presenter, Dallas Rodiak, represents the Daniel and Henry Company, a company committed to sharing resources and collaboration. And Tammy Incaprio, who represents Assurance, an insurance brokerage who utilizes a robust benchmarking evaluation tool with their customers already. We were very blessed to tap into both of their resources for this category. Please welcome Dallas and Tammy to present our safety award.
Some of you might be surprised to learn that a good safety program offers more than just fewer workplace injuries. A study that was conducted by Advanced Technology Services along with Plant Engineering Magazine, essentially they determined that 83% of the time after putting a safety program in place, that they actually improve productivity as well. So the safety is one of those situations where you can kind of have your cake and eat it too. It helps in multiple capacities. I have a quote here from David Miller, who's the Senior Director of Environmental Health and Safety at Advanced Technology Services. And he says, only those manufacturing facilities which continue to emphasize safety as a top-level issue will remain highly productive and competitive in today's marketplace. So safety has become not only the right thing to do, but imperative to have a successful manufacturing business.
I'm also honored that the BIA asked me to be a part of this process. Had the opportunity to go out and meet the finalists and interview them with the team. The thing that I think was really great about the process was that piece of it. You can read the surveys and see things on paper, but to actually go out and meet the different companies and see the passion that they had about what they were doing was second to none. So that was the part that I really took away from it. One of the things too, we were supposed to keep all the meetings to that 30 minutes. And it was very, very hard to do because everyone had so much to say. But Maria kept us on target for a lot of the meetings. A couple things I just wanted to highlight from some of the meetings we had. One of the companies that we went to actually had a monitor that they actually recently put in place, I believe in the last year, that had cartoons on it for safety, and it was great. And they were so excited to be able to show that to us. The other thing, one of the other takeaways I had was some of the corrective action. So this company we met with actually were very concerned about near misses as much as just claims that they were having. And they actually would bring in individuals into their room and meet with the safety team and go through it and put corrective actions together for those near misses to make their place better. The other thing that I wanted to mention, and this still wows me, and I've told multiple people about it since the meeting we had. So this individual, or this company, had 2,556 days with no lost time. Okay, I didn't see a long time, and I think that's probably the longest that I've ever seen a company go. That's like 7 years. So the thing that I would throw out, I wonder how many companies here combined no lost time days from last year. Would be interesting to see the results on that. But congratulations to our finalists. Continental Electric Construction Company.
I'd like to start off by thanking Kathy and her team. I think you guys put on a fantastic event, as well as do a great job for the manufacturing industry. Actually, I'd like to thank the owner of our organization, Marcia Serlin, and her son Brad, who's the president. Without them, we wouldn't have the buy-in and the leadership that we need to make programs such as safety forefront in our organization. Because as all of you know, without leadership and without top-down management, programs such as safety doesn't have the legs to move. So it's through them that we really do find our way, and we really do continue to improve our programs day in and day out. I'd like to also thank the team. Without our team, none of this can happen. We believe that the investment in our people is the most important thing that you can do. That's done daily by trainings, that's done daily by mentoring, and that's done daily by making sure our members of management are on the ground with the guys that are conducting the work, and making sure that everything we do is in adherence with everything that we say we do. Because again, making sure our team members go home the way they arrive is the most important thing that we do. And safety is not what we do, it's how we do things. So again, I'd like to thank the BIA for this award. I think it's fantastic, and I'd like to thank everybody in this room that participates in these events. Thank you.
They're the ones who have 2,556 no lost time. Well,
I would say that I've always heard that time is like kissing your sister, but I'm okay with that. That's pretty good. I'm very happy that this is our second year that we received the reward. I would like to thank the VIA, obviously, like everyone else, in the benchmarking process. I actually served with Dallas on the committee for a while, so we had a good time. I would like to thank some of our managers and business unit leaders who are here tonight. Especially like to thank the safety committee, who without this we would not do it, which is Roberto, Dave, Joe, Sam, and Joker over here. Everybody stand up. I'm a woman of few words, so I'll keep it brief. You know, in the light of the way that things are today, like my previous person who was up here said, sending everyone home safely every day is number one. And so we take that very seriously, Tech Pack, and we'd like to go for the three-peat next year, so thank you.
Thank you so much. I have to say that the safety category was really interesting because it was such tight competition. I think all four scores were within 4 points of each other. And there was 100 points total that you could get, and both of those teams had 95 points out of 100. So very impressive group. So thanks again to them. Our fifth category tonight is social responsibility. When we meshed community service and outreach with sustainability, we got this important category. It was a natural fit. Sharing some of the ideation process is our very own VIA storyteller, Michelle Kelly, the CEO of K&L Storytellers, and Jay Womack, ASLA Lead AP and Senior Landscape Architect from Huff & Huff, a subsidiary of GZA Geo-Environmental. That was a mouthful. Both people who are passionate about the environment and strong contributors in their community. So please help me welcome Michelle and Jay.
forget the folder for your remarks, you use a little pink punch. Almost 1 year ago today, I had occasion to speak to the former CEO and chairman of the board for Playboy Enterprises, Christy Hefner, and she said something I will never forget. She said, ideas gain traction over time. I have a patient sense of urgency. I want things to be better tomorrow, but I also play the long game. And it is the long game we are talking about when it comes to social responsibility. Educating underprivileged children in the same town where your manufacturing plant is, planting free trees for every one you take down, and hosting a volunteer day off for your entire company. Any of these actions do not achieve results in the moment. They achieve results over time. The VIA Social Responsibility Award is about the long game. It is about supporting community, it is about the environment, it is about humanity, and our full expression of that humanity where we conduct business. The award itself was born September 12th of last year. On that day, 6 people from various walks of life came together and we discussed what social responsibility was all about, the award criteria, the questionnaire. We put down a lot of ideas and then we came back again and we synthesized those down into 10 questions for review by IMEC and the BIA. We talked about everything. The mission, description of the award, the phrasing, the process. The nominees were then given the self-evaluation, awarding themselves a certain number of points. Our award committee met with each nominee and asked them deeper questions based on their answers. What these efforts led to was an exploration of the best practices among our innovative industrials of today, and that group is all of you. It is our manufacturers that move our economy forward and get people making things. Their approach to their business when it comes to social responsibility is the greatest investment in our future. The long game we call social responsibility, as you will soon see as Jay now outlines the finalists.
Hi everyone. Kathy shoved me in the back and said, "Make up some time." So everybody's thinking. Alright, so social responsibility. What is social responsibility? For the awards, we focused on 2 areas: sustainability and community outreach and service. We asked a lot of questions, and we got a lot of great answers. What was amazing was we interviewed 3 companies, and we had 1 hour. Not 1 hour, 1 minute, not 1 hour, 2 minutes, but 1 hour, because we had the equal amount of time to let these people tell their stories, and that's what they did. And it was pretty amazing. 3 completely different companies, but with amazing stories that all came down to the same thing. They really believe in their people, the environment, protecting the environment, protecting the people, and doing great things. We heard things about water reclamation, we heard about waste services, we heard about recycling, we heard about having a website that goes across literally from one company to the world, who they talk about all the great things that they're doing. And so as we really looked at the 3 different companies, they all had the same message, and that was that they really believed in the environment and reducing their footprint. So tonight we want to celebrate the 3 finalists, who are Duquesne Precast, International Paper, and United Scrap. And the winner is United Scrap. Good shot.
So just going with the flow here. Want to thank Kathy, just as Adam did, for the opportunity. If you guys were here a couple years ago, I was up here blabbing about the same exact award. My favorite thing about United Scrap, and one of the reasons that I really love the company, is because of all of the community outreach and ways we give back. It's a huge part of our day-to-day culture. And this past year, one of the things that I found most exciting that we newly implemented was that we actually get an additional day of PTO to use on your own time for any volunteer activities you want to do. So that is something that I think is incredibly special, aside from all of the other, I would say at least monthly, we take time out of our days and they're okay letting us have off time from work to go participate in some of these community outreach. This past year, that was the first year that we had a blood drive as well. So we had a blood drive. The van actually came onto our site and we tried to get as many people as possible involved. Adam could definitely speak a lot better to more of the social responsibility. Obviously, we are a recycling company and we're doing our best every day to ensure that we are making sure that our world stays beautiful and clean. That's really all I've got. Thanks again for everyone for coming.
All right, we're coming to the close to the end here, guys. So are you ready for the sixth category tonight, which is workforce development? We knew this was going to be good, having Waubonsee Community College, IMEC, SICKH as key contributors, and giving their stamp of approval on our benchmarking criteria for this category. As most of you know, we have a wonderful HR support hotline that our members are able to utilize throughout the year. And we are extremely grateful that we can lean on our friends at SICKH when we need HR direction. Please welcome Carly Hinman, our VIA Personal HR Advisor, and Joy Goose, Partner in Charge of the Human Resources Consulting Services at SICKH, to introduce our category and finalists.
So SICKH was very honored to be a part of kind of the revamping of the Spark Board process. We sat in on several focus groups of the different areas and kind of helped develop not only the 10 questions, but also the grading criteria, which Joy will talk about. For me, this whole process has been very rewarding, sitting in on those focus groups with all the different professionals that I've been able to connect with and network with now, to interviewing all the finalists and hearing them speak about their company with such pride and joy, and you know, it really carried through from not only seeing that on paper, but also carrying through to the interviews, and then now being able to present the award for this category. So I'll pass it back to Joy to talk about the process.
I echo all of the comments of the previous presenters. I have noted the bar has closed, and Kathy wanted to stick to a tight agenda. So I'd like to spend the next 2.5 hours talking to you about workforce development. This is an utmost honor because the human capital function, as well as the workforce development, is a passion of mine, not only for my career, but the VIA, as well as all the wonderful members. And the criteria was developed to be all-inclusive, whether you were a small organization with limited resources and bandwidth, all the way up to well-established larger organizations. And SICKH, as well as the VIA, took that opportunity to be an all-inclusive organization for this award. When we look at the various participants, the goal is accepting the award tonight and using that as a benchmark to go further and do better. Use this criteria and use the results in order to take your organization to the next level. And so in the spirit of keeping things moving, I'd like to present the nominees. BISON Gear and Engineering, Car Machine and Steel, and
Wow. It's been a good night so far. But, you know, this one it has been harder for me to develop than the culture part because, you know, again, it's been a grassroots project with me. But all I was thinking about when I was working with my team in development was, I don't necessarily think it means to send somebody to an HR class or send somebody to a manufacturing class or a CNC programming training class or a sales class or whatever kind of class you're going to do. I believe that development is really the core of what I need to do as a leader of my company. And whether you're developing them through a skill set or you're developing them in their own personality and moving forward in their life, I think that's really the core of what I was going for, and I really hope that's resonated with my team, that, you know, it's important to have great skill sets, but I think it's important to develop your own personal self and your personal authenticity, and that is really what is at the core that I think for this award. And I thank everybody, the VIA, Kathy, and all the people that came out to interview us. Thank you so much.
And now it's time for the grand finale. Come on up, Dave. The overall benchmarking points earners. Just to recap the process. Each of our 6 categories had points earned by the self-assessment. The top companies were then invited to have a personal interview with 3 or 4 of our VIA Excellence Committee members. Extra points were given to those companies that were able to show evidence-based examples that our companies could learn from.
We've certainly heard all the great elements of the various sections of what's underneath it. And all I would say with all of the finalists here, this is about 2 words: integration and alignment, bringing all the pieces together. And there's a lot to recognize and celebrate with these finalists tonight for the overall category. But before we even go one step further, because I think I'm one of the last up here, is that correct with you? Let's all give Kathy Gilmore a big round of applause. We all know Kathy and her team have just done a phenomenal job and really brought a game of excellence tonight in their own rights. So with that, the finalists are...
We're giving some instructions, so they're going to bring their team up here.
Okay, yeah. You're going to bring your team up here. So these are the instructions. You're going to bring your team up here. This is not the excellence.
I'll stop. So we're not going to go through the finalists. We're just going to tell you who's 3rd place, 2nd place, and 1st place. So come on up here with your whole team when we call your name, okay?
That's what I was going to say. Very good. The BISON gear. International paper. And the first finalist is UK.
Thank you guys so much. If you guys want to work your way over to your photo opportunity, but thank you so much for all that you did. As we mentioned the points, I just wanted to tell you what their point totals were, just so you can have an idea. Out of 600 points, the Duquesne Precast with 474. International Paper with 369. And Bison here with 338. So it's excellent job. So just in closing today, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited about how this all turned out. That's pretty good, wasn't it? Have you ever seen a project that had this many key contributors? I mean, that was pretty amazing too. Benchmarking for Excellence is going to be a living document. We want feedback, not this week. Okay? We do want your feedback on how, not tonight, especially not tonight, on how we can make this even better next year. We just actually have started plans on how to, working on upgrading our technology of the survey. And the intent is that this will be a tool our member companies can access and utilize all year round to help them have clear goals for growth and validate the things they're doing well. Now, we launched in January quarterly excellence forums supporting these categories, where we focus on the criteria, and we invite you all, finalists or not, to be part of these growing and learning experiences. And we really try to do our best to help our finalists, and especially our winners, be involved in those so that we can learn from each other. This was a key complimentary member benefit that we wanted to offer this year to our members. Now, I offered a special carrot to anyone who completed all 6 benchmarking applications, and we had so many that did. And that is truly how we're going to get the data that we need. Because if you only fill out the application for the things that you're good at, how are you going to learn where you need to grow? And then how are we going to learn how we need to support you? So I encourage you in the future to do all of them. So you will be receiving, if you are one of the companies that did it, you will be receiving a radar chart showing where you fall within the applicants. And so that will be out to you soon. I will be contacting you with that information. So thank you so much to everyone. Again, especially my amazing team, Sue and Trish. This was, yeah, one more round of applause for them. This was absolutely a Herculean effort, and I am extremely grateful to all that were involved in this exciting and amazing program. So thank you so much. And the saying we have is, you don't have to go home, but you can. So, all right. The picture booth is open, so if you have not had your team over for a shot, go get yourself, especially the winners. Winners first. Go on over. Thanks, guys.